All right, folks, here we are just after market close on Monday, November 29th. We're going to take a look at Palantir. I do cover Palantir every single Monday, so if that would be interesting to you and you enjoy this video, feel free to subscribe and turn on the notifications, and that way you will see that pop up in your feed every Monday. All right, before we get into it, oh, good start. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Okay, so Palantir, having a bit of a flat day today. I mean, it's sort of been flatlining for the last, say, 5 days or so. But that's kind of a welcome change since it had been drawing down, since it sort of quadruple topped off of this like 27-ish zone that we've been talking about, and sort of settling in between, this 1930 level that we have down there and this like 21. Can't see exactly what it is because it's so close to the price, but like 2120-ish level there. And what I would keep an eye on, because we've seen this happen several times, like there's a very recent one. There's one. Here's one. I'll just point out a few of these. Here's one. Okay, but we see this like basing, right? This like intermittent basing, and it's doing that right now. And so the question is, after it's done basing, where's it going to break to? Right, it's always breaking. Now, most recently, it broke to the downside, and now it's basing again. But we see here, based several times and then upticked, and sometimes it's having these big gap ups, then immediately basing, and sometimes having these more traditional, like several days in a row coming up and then basing for a few days and then trying to make a run again. And so this looks to me, I mean, based on the most recent examples, we could be getting a break any day now. That said, it wouldn't surprise me if it did base for the rest of the week, but it to me has sort of like fulfilled the minimum, which is this like 5 trading days of basing, in order to consider making the next move, which is what you saw here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then move down. And so taking a look at maybe some of the indicators to see what it might look like if it makes a move. Now, the EMAs are situated in a fully bearish formation at the moment. Not surprising given the recent pullback. And if it is going to make a strong move to the upside, the first thing I'd look at is not only a break of the range here, right? I look for it to break over this, say, 20. I look for it to have a strong move at like 2160. And start building support off of that level. But that should, the 12 EMA right now is maybe close-ish to that, 2191. So by the time the price gets there, the 12 EMA might be just about right there as well. Might give it an opportunity to get support and scoop the 12 EMA underneath. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that, as well as the MACD, looking like and maybe throwing a bullish crossover. That said, it can fake out a lot of times, right? Like here's a fake out of a bearish crossover. Like looked like it wanted to throw a bearish crossover, and then it just continued on. Did it again here. Did it again here. Did it again here, and then finally crossed over. And so I would just be cautious of potential head fakes on the MACD. It's sort of prone to that, which is why I don't rely on it as heavily these days as I used to. More focused on the EMAs, the trend lines, and the support and resistance levels. Now in the RSI, if we do get an upswing, I would look to see what it does around the 50. So the midline here of the 50 on the RSI, if it really struggles and has a hard time, we might see a strong pullback. If it's able to get through there, sort of like you saw back here, and establish some nice movement above it, then it might have a chance to push into overbought territory. That said, it was sort of doing that here as well, and then it just kind of fell right through. But that could have been sort of a more catalyst-driven kind of move than a trend move. So what I'm looking for now is more of a trend move than anything. Now, I don't know if any catalysts may appear, but that's certainly a question. Now, Ichimoku Cloud, here's another opportunity. The conversion line, which is this goldish colored one here, is situated well underneath the baseline, which is the yellow one here at the moment. And so if that conversion line crosses above the baseline while this price action is below these clouds, then that would be considered a buy signal, but a weak buy signal because the price is underneath the clouds. And the assumption here is being that as the price reaches these clouds, that it's going to catch some resistance. That said, these clouds, if it can get there by, say, December 27th, these clouds are probably relatively thin, meaning the resistance there might not be that strong. And so it could have a pretty solid opportunity to pass through these clouds and get above them, which could then provide support, and not encounter a ton of pushback in the interim. So that to me is what the indicators are sort of looking like and what I'll be watching for to sort of see. But to me, the most important thing is, can this break and establish above 2160? That to me would say that it's probably going to try to make a run to the upside after this basing. And again, this could base for several more days. Or does this break basically the $20 level? So it's pretty solid. It's easy level to remember, psychological $20 level. Does it break that? And if so, then it probably says to me that it's likely to come down and at least test this 1930, but probably would make a bit of a bigger move than that. Also, depending on how long it builds this base. The bigger the base, the bigger the move, which is what we had talked about last time in last week's video. In case you missed that or just want a refresher on that, my view on this is this whole area between like 27 and say 20 to 27 is probably going to be viewed in the long view, maybe several months or even years down the road, that this was just building an enormous base over a lengthy period of time, over many months. And like we were saying in that video, the bigger the base, the bigger the move. And so looking for a big movement one direction or another once this long form base has been sort of established and then broken. For the time being, it's looking like that the upper end of that base is really this like 27-ish level, right? Maybe we call it, breaking 28 has been the challenge. Psychologically speaking, I would anticipate that it's really that $30 level is the key component there, sort of like the crux of where the stock might head. And then to the downside, most recently we saw it catch here at 1706. So don't know exactly what that's looking like to the downside, but we have these two levels in here, 1930 and 1722, if it needs to try to catch support on the downturn there, if it has a downturn. Quick check-in on some data. This is from Unusual Whales. These are the biggest options trades that crossed the flow today. And this is the timestamp, and obviously these are all for Palantir. We do see of the 10 biggest options trades today from the whales, 7 of them were bullish. So take that for what you will. Many of them also quite far, well, I guess all of them quite far into the future, because even the 2022s are in September, right? And the rest are 2023 and 2024. And definitely not as high a premium as I see in a lot of other stocks. A lot of other stocks will easily have some into the millions, some into the tens of millions of premium just from one like big bulk trade happening there. So just wanted to share that for what it's worth, like I said, but just kind of a little bit scarce on the whale side of things, from my perspective and what I feel like I typically see on Unusual Whales. All right, folks. Well, that's going to do it for this video. Like I said, to me, we're in the midst of a basing, and I'm just waiting to see if we get this break of, say, 2160, or we fall below 20. To me, those are the two levels that we're kind of stuck between at the moment, and looking for a strong break in one direction or another, and kind of going from there. MACD looking like it could be throwing a bullish crossover. RSI quite low, right? Ichimoku Cloud, like we talked about, and EMA, the 12 EMA, maybe about at that same point, that 2160 level, if and when the price gets there. All right, that was my TLDR at the end. So I make you watch the whole video and then give you the TLDR. All right, folks. Well, I hope your trading week got off to a good start today, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.